You say what's the relevance of agri can grow our economy? You say the economy grow 1.5 in the first quarter.
Squitty. Me have a reason why I have to leave out for the live soon. But just go take me 5 minutes and just finish up. Squitty. Alright, me remember what I said still. Alright, good. So yeah, Squitty. The PNP had several ministers that were responsible for different ministries. If you're going to tell us, our Jamaicans today, not labor rights, tell Jamaicans that they are supposed to swap or replace the current ministers we have today. We are supposed to first be asked to compare and contrast. Now, to know if you have a car today that is better than the car you have yesterday, you could not have an imaginary car today and a physical car yesterday to know that this car today is a better one than the one you have yesterday. You have one car where in a yesterday and one different one in a today. So you know say this one is better than the one where in a yesterday. How if you just buy the first car and say, boy, the car better than my first car, you never have no car. Exactly. So my point is this. If me I go say today government better or today's government worse, I must first be able to compare and contrast data. The PNP had several education ministers. Let me give you a few of them. Maxine Henry Wilson, Burchell Whiteman, or whatever his name. Whatever his name. However, when we never hear the PNP ever campaign and say, when we had Minister Whiteman as education minister, this was how he performed, or this is how well he did. After that, we had Maxine Henry Wilson. Here is our track record. Give us the data to compare and contrast so we can know, say, look, how dare you want us to replace something that is better than we had yesterday? Man, I could have continued. In other words, I'm going to land right there, so 9 years of comparison to 31 years, to 18 years of government. Now, a lot of people are acting short-sighted. Them not short-sighted, them are act short-sighted to please themselves. Quit. A lot of crises that exist today, people want them to be fixed in the one term. Cut the foolishness. If the government is supposed to do or address these issues without burdening the people, the government first have to build out the economy and have Jamaica and provide its own money to do things for the people and the country without having to borrow or depend on grants. Why? Listen, when we borrow and depend on grants, these comes with them come with stringent terms and conditions. Just like the PNP had to go through stringent terms and conditions, whilst under the IMF deal, the public sector feels it. The government had to offer wage freezes instead of wage increases. You know why? Because the economy was broke. So you know what happened? The PNP had to promise the best things for Jamaica. Hence the PNP is infamous for having a lot of things in the pipeline. So yes, the PNP announced this. Yes, the PNP announced that. Which of those or how many of those were the PNP able to execute? And let us ask the question or questions. What prevented the PNP from never having these things executed? A broken economy, a country that had very little to no money for itself. So therefore, a lot of what we're seeing being done today without the country having to depend on grants and loan is because the government today has better policies that is able to grow the economy, provide the government with more money to feed or do more things for us as a people. The rest is until we will again.
All right, respect. Professor, step up. Professor, unmute your mic, brother. Touch your picture and touch your mic icon.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah.
May I say, after Mr. Syncratic talk, nobody is not supposed to talk. You can close on the platform and go, you know. See the man put everything in a perspective.
But we still have a push on, man. Still have a
not true. But you see, as I rightly say, let me tell you this. The PNP is not about the practical things of the policies. The PNP supporters them and the ministers, whoever in the PNP, they are all about the wording. Yeah, they are all about good speech, pretty speech. Yeah, as long as them can formulate some words to put to the ears of the people, then the people will listen. Yeah, but when it comes to the actual demonstration of what them say, it is never there and they never fulfill that. And me always say it started out from way back down in the 70s. You come with your pretty speech, yeah? A speech of sweetness and colorful speech, and people listen to the speech and say, yes, that is how we want Jamaica to run. But when they actually get it in them hand to do it now, it turns out to be a different thing. And we can use FinSac. We can use FinSac for an example. Yeah? Then create FinSac. What was the purpose of FinSac? Yeah? Because of because the economy was going down a hill. Yeah? And when that happened, the result of FinSac caused people to lose their life by them own. So the PNP is so good at formulating words, telling people about plan, and then again, in addition to that, the PNP have never seen it fit to have a policy if the JLP had not created one and established it. So they cannot by themselves create a policy, put a things in have a term in which they can say, all right, let us put we are going to put put in a school bus system. They could not see that a school bus system could be put into place until when the Jamaica Labour Party put a school bus system in place, and then they come up with a different idea, and then the idea that they come with, they have these kind of people who they put the idea to, and then the people them say, yeah, it is a better idea, and they are not looking at what the idea is going to cost the country. Right? Because if you are going to say, all right, this is my plan, against the present plan that is here, which is working for the people, yeah? And you said it is better to give the people, the parents, them the money to give it to them children to pay to school. At the end of the fiscal year, how much money is that going to cost taxpayers' pocket? They are not looking at a system where them say, okay, let us use the taxpayer money to purchase the buses and then charge a small fee so that you can keep the program going. Everything that the PNP come with is very, very costly, and that is why the only way out for the PNP is to put more taxes on the backs of the people. And then you look at the people that are supporting the PNP, they cannot understand, because everybody understand and know that tax run the country. Yeah, and if you speak to a PNP supporter, them say, yes, it is tax that run the country. But they are not looking at the other side of the spectrum to say, if you put more people to work, you can take from an individual less tax from one individual. Now, the less tax, when you add it up to the amount of people that is working, you end up getting more resources, more revenue. The PNP, as I said, listen, they are not good for economy. They are not good for the politics of the country. Because if you listen to the leader, to the other one where them called Dayton Campbell, and if you listen to any one of them, inclusive of the lady, who made those threatening remarks against the people of Jamaica, and to instill crime in the society, one can safely say that the PNP is not good for Jamaica. I was watching a clip, and it was Robert Morgan who was talking to somebody who was driving, and he stopped by and was reasoning. And you hear what the gentleman says to Mr. Morgan? He said, hundreds of Jamaicans want to come home, but they are watching the third term. They are watching the election outcome. Because if the other side should win the election, then the people would not make preparation to come home. What is that telling us? It is saying to us as a people that there is progress in this country. Infrastructure are being building out. And if you don't get the infrastructure built out, how then you are going to attract investors in the country?
All right, you land as a professor?
Yes, for the time being.
All right, respect. Well, let's go. Kari, step up, my brother.
Good night.
Good night.
Professor Fluffy, me, Solid, Gusto, Black Courageous, Squitty, good night.
Tari, before you start, Tari, give me a second before you start. Young Jamaica president reach out to you?
I am in dialogue with him.
Okay, good, okay.
Yeah. So blessings and respect to each and every one of you. Glad to be as always, listeners. Oh, by the way, Horatio, I see him every day at school, so
Okay.
I can easily talk to him. I have easy reach to him, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And Tari, Tari,
yes, good.
oh, you come on the live maybe tomorrow or when you can. And one of them there we arrange it. You and both two of your schoolmates, right? And we're going to have a forum on the young people thought of the country. What them think?
Alright, maybe not tomorrow because I'm going to have church on Saturday. But
Yeah.
I'll talk to them and see who I can get where that is
Monday we can have
because-
that.
Yeah, I'm going to see who I can get with regards to that because say labor rights are working people, we are busy people.
Yeah, but not like your
a lot of us.
schoolmate, them young people like yourself.
No, me know, but me I say a lot of them depend on summer job right now too. So me I say a lot of them are working people right now. Because
Yeah.
I even have one friend, she live in Big Rap constituency and she was walking with Big Rap because she live on Big Rap team.
Yeah.
So,
Right, when
Yeah,
it's
say-
feasible to you. You see in box me and tell me when it's feasible so we can announce it so we're going to have this forum.
yeah man. Me
Get them perspective on what go on in the country and where them feel, how them think, and where the country
yeah
is.
man. Yes, me go.
I know young people
sort
think
that.
different from
Feels
everybody.
with you.
Yeah, man.
Yes, true.
All right.
So me-
All right,
me sort
respect.
that feel.
Yeah, man.
But yes, Quitty, as me there now, been listening to the conversation when I just joined Fluffy was. Hold on, give me a second.
Yeah.
Right, so as me have to know, Fluffy was speaking about the program like the school feeding programs and what they were in the past versus now, and how schools have part and welfare and also a good amount of school have free breakfast program right now, right? And I just wanted to expound a little bit more on that, in terms of school nutrition, right? Because I've always heard in society that we need to have a school nutrition policy, and it is something that I back 100%. I've always hear advocacy networks. I say we need to have a school nutrition policy because one thing I believe is that no hungry child are going to be able to learn, with all due respect. There's no child who can be in a classroom and them hungry and not able to focus on the lesson. No. Children need to have the mighty God, the variety of nutrients. They need to have a mixture of all those nutrients within their systems, right? So that they can not only feel full and whatnot, but also that their bodily systems can be intact when it pertains to their brain getting all the nutrients they need and so that they can be healthy and whatnot. All of those things. And I'm not gonna be pointing any fingers here, Squitty, because one of the things I firmly believe in is that when it comes to education, I don't like to drag children into politics. It's not something that I'm fond of. There are three things that I don't like dragging politics into: education. I don't like dragging healthcare into politics when I have patients in hospitals and clinics. And I don't like dragging national security as it relates to the victims of various crimes into politics. Those are the three major things I think should never be politicized or even dragged into politics, Squitty.
Right.
But what I can say though is that I'm, as a student, because I'm telling you this right now, because you know me got Arden, and you know I will say that I am grateful for the improvements that I've seen, and not only in Arden, but across the nation where school feeding is concerned. And Fluffy would have talked about it when we have moved from bull and bun and milk only, the Nutribull and whatever, we have moved from that to proper cooked food, right? No man Slaughter, me not play the music them. Not me. I don't me I play that Slaughter. Right. But right. And when I look at where we have come from, Squitty, as a nation, you know, muffin and bag juice to the actual proper nutritious food, I say to myself, I am grateful that we are here. And one of the things that we have to recognize is small steps. Yeah, people are going to say the government has been in power for 9 years and they had all of this time. But I will continue to say small steps. You know why I continue to say small steps, Squitty? Because one of the things I've realized with this government, the government has had to be more reactive than proactive. You know what that means, Squitty? Many a times what I recognize is that governments have to be reacting to problems that would have occurred before them that they would have had no control over. That they would have had well, let me not say no knowledge of, but they would have no control over it because they were not the ones in power at the time. And as such, governments have to be reactive in ensuring that they deal with the problems of the past, right? So that by the time we reach further down into the future, we can be more proactive in focusing on the things that the society needs. Which is why that... Alright, Mark, okay, I see your point. Which is why, everyone, that during the first term of Prime Minister Holness, a lot of what we would have seen was mainly reactive in the sense of ensuring that we can generate revenue and money from the economy, pay down our debts, and ensure that we can find back that firm foundation. Because once you then find back your firm foundation, Squitty, as you would have now seen in the second term, the government is now able to provide more money to things. You see, government do wait name again. Oh my god, it slipped my mind. The one where them do with the payback for the taxes. Oh my days, I don't remember wait name. Someone remind me, the refundable. The tax credit, right. Thank you very much. You see government doing tax credits, NHT loan increase, you see government doing solidarity program, you see government doing things and giving people money. You see government being able to cut the GCT on electricity from 15% to 7%. And I'm saying, why? Look like we get a little more money. You know? So, in all of this, I'm saying, be patient. It's gonna take time. But it will eventually reach. And I say this to circle back to the school nutrition policy. Right? Even path increase. I say this to go back to the school nutrition policy. The government would have banned sugary drinks in our schools, right? The government would have ensured that the feeding programs have increased. That's just part of the process. I agree more can be done, but I am grateful for what has been done in comparison to what would have happened in the past, right? Because I think personally, even with the whole debate on warning labels and food packages, because we've been having that debate for how long, and I am a supporter that I am a supporter that personally I think warning labels should be on food packages because consumers must know what is the risk that they will receive when they buy this product. Will it be high in hypertension? Will it be high in diabetes, well, not high in hypertension, high in salt or high in sugar. My apologies, right? But that's something that I believe should happen, right? And I also believe a lot more things can happen as it relates to greater things with our nutrition policy, but these things take time. And we have to remember that the government, it's not just education. Education is just one part, not even one part, it's just one of the stones that have been turned in government. Government has a lot. Government has greater things to worry about. They have national security to worry about, agriculture to worry about, justice to worry about, legal and constitutional affairs. They have a whole heap of other ministries that they have to worry about. When we look at the supplementary budget, everyone, where the government added 10 I believe billion dollars more to the budget, right? And most of those money that they added back is in relation to the salaries, right? In terms of ensuring that the people them get them overtime, or that the people them receive whichever part of them salary they haven't received. These things could have only been achieved through the reactive behavior that this government would have had during 2016 to 2020, and put in strict regulations in place at certain points, right, so that we can enjoy the things that we're enjoying now. And I remember listening to Nationwide, everyone, and someone was asking, but it's an election year. Why the government not doing an election year budget? Because in an election year, you expect big things. You expect big promises and
Run with it, Tari.
run with it. Yeah, that is what you normally expect. But then the government had to come and say, listen, we're at a critical juncture right now. We're at a critical point in the history of our nation, and we have decided that instead of giving you an election budget and running with it, we're going to choose Jamaica ever so and put forward the restrictions that we need to put forward, if you could say it like that. I would say that they did cut down the money on debt servicing, and they did cut down the money in national security and put more towards education and health. They did, right? But knowing where we are, I prefer a government that, in spite of knowing that it is an election year, decides to choose Jamaica and not run with it, over a set of people who are willing to run with it and provide ideas or provide gimmicks and promises, knowing fully well that if they do those gimmicks and promises, Jamaica is going to be in a much deeper problem way after the election, right? And that is just one part of the entire reality that we face in this country, everyone. That's just one part of everything. So I await to see, Squitty and everyone, I await to see, this is what I'm telling you, I await to see what more will be done on school nutrition, I will say. But additionally and outside of that, I wait to see what more we can expect from this government, and I will have the patience and wait. Just recently, the government announced, Daryl Vaz announced that we're not going to renegotiate the license with JPS under these terms and conditions.
Game changer, Tari.
Game changer, yes. Game changer indeed, right? And why them say no risk, no reward, Squitty?
Yeah.
But if you have a government as this that is willing to face the big bad JPS and put the Jamaica people first, I don't see why we will vote them out. I don't see why. By the way, just a question to everybody. When was the first JPS?
Sorry, before you ask the question, elaborate on this. You have school lads. Who keep saying school nutrition is school nutrition. It's not going idea.
Funny.
Tari, please don't answer him, Tari. That
Funny.
is, you're gonna sound stupid if you answer him, please.
No, man. Listen. Okay, if I know that you have been in the education sector for quite some time. I saw that you ran for JTA president 1 year. So you know I assume you know your facts. So I assume you know your facts better than me as a student in the system. So who knows? Go right along. You have your opinion, I have mine. but I know that man is fact.
But that is a laugh.
Yes,
That is a laugh
but
for that, because that was always there.